Have you ever spent extra money at the grocery store to buy the best, most expensive organic vegetables and the highest quality wild-caught fish, believing that you are doing everything in your power to protect your heart and your brain? You bring this beautiful, life-giving food home. You prepare it carefully. You eat it, confident that you are fueling your body with the medicine it needs to fight off the aging process. But what if I told you that the moment that organic piece of fish touches your frying pan, it transforms from a healing superfood into a highly toxic, brain-damaging poison? What if the containers you are using to store your leftovers are silently leaking chemicals that disrupt your thyroid and cause massive weight gain? What if the shiny foil you use to bake your potatoes is the exact heavy metal responsible for erasing your memories? Prepare yourself, because today we are entering the most dangerous room in your entire house. We are not talking about the medicine cabinet, and we are not talking about the garage. We are talking about your kitchen. For the last 50 years, the cookware and food storage industries have prioritized two things: cheap manufacturing and extreme convenience. They wanted to create pans that you never had to scrub. They wanted to create containers that wouldn't break when you dropped them. They wanted to create appliances that could cook a meal in 3 minutes instead of an hour. But convenience always comes at a biological cost. And the cost of modern kitchen convenience is the exponential explosion of Alzheimer's disease, dementia, autoimmune disorders, and systemic cardiovascular inflammation. The chemicals used to make your kitchen convenient are highly unstable. When you apply heat to them, they break down. They vaporize into the air you breathe, and they leach directly into the food you are about to swallow. When you are 20 years old, your body's detoxification systems are robust. Your liver and kidneys can fight off a certain amount of this chemical assault. But when you are 60, 70, or 80 years old, your biological defense shields are naturally weaker. When you ingest these industrial chemicals, your body cannot eliminate them. They cross the blood-brain barrier. They lodge into your fatty tissues. They disrupt your endocrine system, and they literally age your cells from the inside out. Today, in this comprehensive deep dive presentation, we are going to completely tear apart the modern kitchen. We are going to expose the 5 deadliest kitchen items and cooking habits that millions of seniors use every single day. We will look at the terrifying toxicology reports that the manufacturing companies try to hide, and we will look at the profound wisdom of Eastern medicine, which has understood the sacred alchemy of cooking for thousands of years. If you want to protect your memory, if you want to stop chronic inflammation, and if you want to ensure that the healthy food you buy actually heals you instead of harming you, you must listen to every single word of this masterclass. You will want to pause this video, walk into your kitchen, and throw hundreds of dollars worth of equipment directly into the trash can. But before we expose the first highly toxic item in your kitchen, if you are serious about taking complete control of your longevity, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I am Dr. Kim, and here at Senior Health, we combine the cutting-edge science of modern toxicology with the ancient, holistic wisdom of Korean traditional healing. We give you the unvarnished truth that the mainstream commercial system tries to hide. And I want to know who is joining our community of truth seekers today. If you are ready to learn how to truly detoxify your kitchen, type the number 1 in the comments right now. If not, type 0. Your engagement is what allows us to reach and save more seniors just like you. Let us begin with the most ubiquitous, popular, and incredibly dangerous item in the modern kitchen: Almost every senior has at least 2 or 3 of these stacked in their cupboards. They are lightweight, they are usually black on the inside, and nothing sticks to them. Let's talk about the absolute biological disaster of Teflon and non-stick cookware. In the mid-20th century, a chemical company accidentally discovered a synthetic polymer that was incredibly slippery. They realized they could coat frying pans with this chemical, and suddenly, housewives no longer had to scrub burnt eggs off the bottom of the pan. It was hailed as a miracle of modern science, but what is that black coating actually made of? It is a chemical class known as PFAS, which stands for per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. In the scientific and medical community, we have a much more terrifying name for them. We call them forever chemicals. Why do we call them forever chemicals? Because the chemical bonds in PFAS are so incredibly strong that they do not break down in nature, and more importantly, they do not break down inside the human body. When you ingest them, they stay there, forever. Here is the nightmare scenario that happens in your kitchen every morning. When you put a non-stick pan on the stove and turn on the heat, that chemical coating begins to destabilize. Studies have shown that if a non-stick pan is heated to just 460 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature easily reached in a few minutes on a standard gas or electric stove, the coating begins to emit toxic fumes. These fumes are so deadly that if you have a pet bird in the kitchen, the fumes will literally kill the bird in minutes. This is a documented phenomenon called Teflon toxicosis. If it kills a bird in 3 minutes, what do you think it is doing to your aging lungs and your brain? But the danger is not just in the fumes. Take a close look at your non-stick pans. Do you see any scratches? Do you see areas where the black coating has flaked off or chipped away? If you have been using a metal spatula or simply washing the pan over the years, the surface gets scratched. When a non-stick pan is scratched, millions of microscopic plastic and chemical particles flake off directly into your food. You are cooking your healthy eggs in a soup of forever chemicals. You swallow these chemicals, and because they are completely synthetic, your aging liver has no enzymes to process them. They enter your bloodstream. Because PFAS chemicals are highly lipophilic, meaning they love fat, they travel directly to the fattiest organ in your body, your brain. They cross the blood-brain barrier and lodge themselves in your neurological tissue. Over decades of eating food cooked in scratched non-stick pans, these forever chemicals accumulate, causing massive neuroinflammation. They disrupt the firing of your neurons, leading to brain fog, severe memory loss, and acting as a major environmental trigger for Alzheimer's disease. Furthermore, these chemicals are potent endocrine disruptors. They mimic estrogen in the body and aggressively attack the thyroid gland. For a senior struggling with a sluggish metabolism, weight gain, and fatigue, cooking with non-stick pans is actively destroying your thyroid's ability to produce energy. In Eastern medicine, cooking is considered a sacred act of transforming energy. The vessel you cook in imparts its energy into the food. Cooking in synthetic, highly reactive plastic chemicals introduces deep toxic heat and stagnation into the body's meridians. It poisons the blood and destroys the yin essence of the brain. You must act today. Walk into your kitchen. Take every single non-stick pan you own, especially the ones with scratches, and throw them in the garbage. Do not donate them. Do not give them to your children. They are toxic waste. What should you use instead? You must return to the ancestral, safe cooking vessels that human beings have used for centuries. Number 1 is cast iron. Cast iron is incredibly durable, naturally non-stick when properly seasoned with healthy fats. and it actually leaches a tiny amount of beneficial iron into your food, which builds your blood. Number 2 is high-quality stainless steel. Number 3 is pure ceramic or glass. These materials are completely inert. They do not react to heat, they do not emit toxic gas, and they will never deposit forever chemicals into your brain. Let's move to the second invisible poison in your kitchen. It is something you probably have in a drawer right now. You use it to line your baking sheets, you wrap your potatoes in it before putting them in the oven, and you use it to cover hot leftovers. Let's expose the terrifying reality of aluminum foil. Aluminum is one of the most abundant metals on Earth, but human biology has absolutely zero need for it. In fact, inside the human body, aluminum is a highly reactive, highly destructive neurotoxin. For years, we have been told that using aluminum foil is perfectly safe. But modern chemistry tells a completely different story, especially when heat and acid are involved. When you wrap a piece of fish with a squeeze of lemon juice in aluminum foil, or when you wrap a tomato-based dish in foil and put it in a hot oven, a violent chemical reaction occurs. The heat of the oven, combined with the acidity of the food, actually melts microscopic amounts of the aluminum directly into your meal. A study published in the International Journal of Electrochemical Science tested this exact scenario. They found that cooking acidic foods in aluminum foil leached incredibly high toxic levels of aluminum directly into the food. When you eat that baked fish or that roasted potato, you are consuming a massive dose of heavy metals. Where does that aluminum go? Just like the forever chemicals, aluminum is extremely neurotoxic. It travels through your bloodstream and crosses the blood-brain barrier. And here is the most chilling fact that should make you throw your foil away immediately. When scientists perform autopsies on the brains of patients who died from severe Alzheimer's disease, they consistently find extremely high concentrations of aluminum residing at the exact center of the amyloid plaques that destroyed the brain tissue. Aluminum causes proteins in the brain to misfold and clump together. It literally tangles your neurons, short-circuiting your memories and your cognitive function. By wrapping your food in aluminum foil, you are spoon-feeding your brain the exact heavy metal that causes dementia. But it also affects your bones. Aluminum competes with calcium in the body. If your blood is high in aluminum, your body cannot absorb calcium properly. It strips the calcium from your bones, accelerating osteoporosis and leaving you highly vulnerable to catastrophic hip and spinal fractures. In traditional Korean healing, we view heavy metals as cold, stagnant poisons that block the flow of qi and blood, settling deep into the marrow and the brain. You must stop cooking with aluminum foil immediately. Do not line your baking sheets with it. Do not wrap your hot food in it. If you are baking, use unbleached parchment paper. Parchment paper is safe, non-toxic, and creates a wonderful non-stick surface for baking fish or roasting vegetables. If you need to store hot food, put it in a glass container with a glass or silicone lid. If you must use aluminum foil for some household reason, make sure it never ever touches the food you are going to put in your mouth. This brings us to the third highly destructive kitchen habit. It is an appliance that sits on the countertop of almost every senior's home. It was invented for ultimate convenience, to reheat leftovers in 60 seconds. Let's discuss the biological trauma of microwaving food in plastic containers. The microwave itself is a contentious topic, but the absolute undeniable danger lies in what you are putting inside the microwave. We love to store our leftover soups, stews, and meals in plastic Tupperware containers. When we are hungry, we take that plastic container out of the fridge, pop it straight into the microwave, and hit start. This is a chemical catastrophe of the highest order. Plastic is not a stable, solid material. It is a complex matrix of synthetic chemicals, primarily bisphenol A, BPA, and phthalates. These chemicals are added to plastic to make it flexible, clear, and durable. When you expose plastic to the intense, radiating heat of a microwave, the chemical bonds of the plastic begin to break down rapidly. The BPA and the phthalates physically melt and leach directly out of the container and into your hot food. If the food contains any fat or oil, the leaching process is multiplied exponentially because these chemicals are highly fat-soluble. You take the plastic container out of the microwave. The food is steaming hot. You eat it! You have just ingested a massive dose of endocrine-disrupting chemicals. What does this do to an aging body? BPA and phthalates are scientifically classified as xenoestrogens. This means that their molecular structure is so similar to the human hormone estrogen that your body cannot tell the difference. When these chemicals enter your bloodstream, they bind to your hormone receptors and send your endocrine system into complete chaos. For a senior, this is devastating. It actively suppresses your thyroid gland, lowering your metabolic rate and causing deep, unexplainable fatigue. It tells your body to store massive amounts of visceral fat around your abdomen, leading to sudden weight gain that you cannot lose no matter how little you eat. Furthermore, these synthetic estrogens cause massive cellular inflammation, increasing the risk of hormone-driven cancers, such as breast cancer and prostate cancer. You are using the microwave to save 5 minutes of cooking time, but you are destroying your hormonal balance and intoxicating your entire glandular system. Even if the plastic container says microwave safe, do not believe it. Microwave safe simply means the plastic will not physically melt and catch fire in the machine. It does absolutely nothing to guarantee that toxic microscopic endocrine disruptors are not leaching into your soup. In Eastern medicine, we warn against eating food that lacks vitality. Microwaving food in toxic containers destroys the natural chi of the meal, replacing the life force with dead, synthetic, stagnating energy that blocks the liver and the spleen. The rule here is absolute. You must never under any circumstances heat food in plastic. Go through your cabinets and throw away the stained, warped plastic Tupperware containers. Invest in a set of high-quality tempered glass storage containers. Glass is completely inert. You can store your food in it, and you can heat your food in it safely. If you are going to use a microwave, only use glass or ceramic bowls. Protect your hormones, protect your thyroid, and stop eating melted plastic. Now, let's look at the fourth kitchen deception. It is the newest, trendiest appliance on the market. Every health magazine and fitness guru tells you to buy one so you can eat fried food without the oil. Let's expose the terrifying reality of the air fryer illusion. Air fryers have taken the world by storm. The marketing is brilliant. You can get crispy French fries, crispy chicken, and roasted vegetables using almost zero oil. It sounds like a miracle for heart health. But as seniors, we must look past the marketing and examine the actual chemistry of what is happening to the food. An air fryer is essentially a high-powered convection oven. It works by circulating extremely hot, completely dry air at very high speeds around the food. When you subject carbohydrate-rich foods, like potatoes, or protein-rich foods, like meat, to extreme dry heat, a chemical reaction occurs. It is called the Maillard reaction, and it is what makes food turn brown and crispy. But when this reaction happens rapidly under intense dry heat, it creates a massive surge of two highly toxic compounds, acrylamides and advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. Acrylamide is a toxic chemical compound that forms when starchy foods are cooked at high temperatures. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. It damages DNA and has been directly linked to neurological damage. But the more immediate danger to seniors is the creation of ages. Advanced glycation end products are exactly what they sound like. They are the biochemical compounds that cause aging. When you eat food that has been blasted with dry heat in an air fryer, you are consuming massive amounts of these ages. Once in your bloodstream, ages act like biological glue. They attach to the proteins in your body and cause them to cross-link and become stiff. They attach to the collagen in your skin, causing deep wrinkles. They attach to the cartilage in your joints, making them stiff, brittle, and highly prone to arthritis. And most dangerously, they attach to the endothelial lining of your blood vessels, turning flexible, rubbery arteries into stiff, hard pipes. You are using an air fryer because you want to avoid the calories of deep frying, but you are actually flooding your body with the exact chemicals that accelerate the aging process, stiffen your heart, and grind away your joints. In the ancient wisdom of Korean traditional medicine, health is deeply dependent on the balance of yin and yang. Yin represents moisture, cooling, and the vital fluids of the body. Yang represents heat and fire. Extreme dry heat cooking methods like air frying or deep roasting completely obliterate the yin essence of the food. When a senior who is naturally losing moisture and becoming drier with age eats a diet heavy in air-fried, dehydrated food, it creates massive internal heat. This burns up the body's fluids, leading to dry eyes, constipation, chronic inflammation, and a rapid acceleration of aging. If you want to protect your cells from premature aging, you must drastically reduce your use of the air fryer. The healthiest, most healing ways to cook food for an aging body are wet heat methods: steaming, boiling, poaching, and slow cooking in a crock pot. These methods preserve the moisture of the food, keep the temperatures low, and completely prevent the formation of cancer-causing acrylamides and stiffening ages. Steam your vegetables, make nourishing bone broths, and protect your body's vital fluids. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and perhaps the most overlooked daily habit in your kitchen. It is the very first thing you do in the morning to make your tea or your coffee. You turn on the faucet, fill your kettle or your pot with tap water, and turn on the stove to boil it. Let's discuss the biological trauma of boiling unfiltered tap water. Water is life, but the water coming out of your city tap is not pure water. It is heavily treated with chemicals to ensure it doesn't carry bacteria through the pipes. The two most common chemicals added to municipal water supplies are chlorine and fluoride. We are told that boiling water makes it safe. Boiling water will kill bacteria and parasites, yes. But boiling water does absolutely nothing to remove heavy metals or chemical additives like fluoride. In fact, boiling actually makes the fluoride problem much worse. When you put a pot of tap water on the stove and let it boil, the water begins to evaporate as steam. But the fluoride and the heavy metals do not evaporate. They remain in the pot. As the water volume decreases, the concentration of the toxic chemicals increases. If you boil a pot of water for 10 minutes to make a soup or a strong tea, you are significantly increasing the density of the fluoride you are about to consume. And remember what we discussed in our previous videos about fluoride? It is a potent neurotoxin that specifically targets and calcifies the pineal gland in the center of your brain, destroying your body's ability to produce melatonin and ruining your sleep architecture. But what about the chlorine? When you boil chlorinated tap water, The heat causes the chlorine to undergo a chemical reaction, vaporizing it into a toxic gas called chloroform. As you stand over the stove waiting for your water to boil, or as you pour that boiling water into your teacup and breathe in the steam, you are inhaling vaporized bleach gas directly into your lungs. This causes immediate oxidative stress to your respiratory system. It damages the delicate lining of your lungs and enters your bloodstream, where it acts as a massive free radical, scratching your blood vessels and initiating the cascade of cardiovascular inflammation. You think you are making a healthy, soothing cup of morning tea, but you are actually inhaling bleach gas and drinking highly concentrated, brain-calcifying fluoride. In Eastern medicine, water is the ultimate yin substance. It is meant to cool, hydrate, and cleanse the body. But water that is laden with harsh chemical poisons loses its healing nature and becomes a vehicle for toxic dampness. The solution is non-negotiable. You cannot cook, boil, or drink unfiltered tap water. You must invest in a high-quality water filtration system for your kitchen. A standard pitcher filter is better than nothing, but to truly protect your brain, you need a reverse osmosis system or a high-grade carbon block filter that specifically removes chlorine, heavy metals, and fluoride. Once you have pure, filtered water, you can boil it safely. Your tea will taste infinitely better, your soups will be medicinal, and you will never again inhale toxic gas in your own kitchen. You now have the complete, unvarnished truth. The 5 kitchen items and cooking habits that have been silently crossing your biological barriers, poisoning your brain, and aging your cardiovascular system. Scratched non-stick pans that leach forever chemicals into your brain. Aluminum foil that melts heavy metals into your baked food and forms the plaques of Alzheimer's. Microwaving in plastic that destroys your thyroid and causes hormonal chaos. Air fryers that blast your food with dry heat, creating the biochemical glue that stiffens your arteries. And boiling unfiltered tap water that concentrates fluoride and vaporizes bleach into your lungs. Hearing this massive list of hidden dangers, you might feel a profound sense of shock. You might feel a heavy weight in your chest, realizing that you have been preparing food for yourself and your family using these exact methods for decades. You trusted the appliance brands. You trusted the convenience. You were just trying to make a quick, healthy meal. It is completely normal to feel overwhelmed and even a bit angry. But I want you to take a deep, powerful breath. I want you to replace that fear with the incredible power of knowledge. You are no longer a blind consumer of toxic convenience. You now understand the profound, delicate alchemy of cooking and how it directly affects your biology. The human body is an absolute miracle of survival. Even at 70 or 80 years old, your body wants to heal. Your liver wants to clear out the heavy metals. Your blood vessels want to remain flexible. Your brain desperately wants to protect its memories. All your body requires is that you stop actively feeding it industrial poisons disguised as cooking tools. The changes I am asking you to make today are entirely within your control. They require a small investment of time and perhaps a little bit of money to replace toxic pans, but the return on that investment is your life, your mind, and your independence. When this video ends, walk into your kitchen. Open your cabinets. Take a large trash bag. Be ruthless. Throw away every single scratched Teflon pan. Throw away the plastic Tupperware. Move the aluminum foil to the garage where it belongs. Put the air fryer in the basement and use it only on rare occasions. You are not wasting money. You are discarding biological weapons that were being deployed against your own brain cells. Replace them with the simple, natural, ancestral tools that work in harmony with your food. Cook your eggs in a well-seasoned cast iron skillet with real butter. Bake your fish on unbleached parchment paper. Store and reheat your soups in thick glass containers. Steam your vegetables and slow cook your meats to preserve their vital moisture. And never boil a drop of water that hasn't been properly filtered. When you stop the daily chemical assault, the transformation in your body is silent but incredibly profound. Within just a few weeks of throwing away the non-stick pans and plastic containers, your liver burden will decrease, and you will notice a clean, sharp return of your mental clarity. The unexplained fatigue will begin to lift because your thyroid is no longer fighting synthetic estrogens. Your joints will feel less stiff in the morning because you stopped flooding your blood with air-fried ages. This is not magic. This is simply what happens when you honor the biological laws of your body and return to the safe, natural methods of preparing the food that gives you life. I want to hear from you now. I want you to look in your kitchen right now. Which of these 5 chemical traps did you find? Have you been scrambling eggs in a scratched black pan? Have you been microwaving soup in a plastic bowl? Let me know in the comments section below. Do not be ashamed. We were all victims of the same brilliant, convenient marketing. Claim your victory by writing down exactly what you are throwing in the trash today. Your courage to share might be the exact wake-up call another senior needs to save their own memory. If this deep dive masterclass opened your eyes, if it finally explained why you have been struggling with brain fog or inflammation, despite eating a healthy diet, please hit the like button right now. Share this video with your children, your friends, and anyone you know who loves to cook or relies heavily on the microwave. You have the power to share the truth that can literally save their brain. And most importantly, click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Here at Senior Health, we are building a massive, unstoppable community of seniors who refuse to be poisoned by the chemical manufacturing industry. We are taking back our health, our independence, and our golden years by honoring the brilliant design of our own bodies and the food we put into them. Before you close this video, please type the number 1 in the comments if you are going to clean out your kitchen cabinets today. If not, type 0. Make the commitment to your biology. Respect your food. Protect your brain. And never forget that true health begins not just with what you eat, but with how you cook it. I am Dr. Kim, and I will see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay wise, and stay strong.